أنا من أنا أمن أمان للوطن. أنا من أنا أبتاع والروح الثمن. أمن الكويت يمانها والله يعلي شأنها. أنا غايتي عنوانها الله الوطن الأمير. حب هذه الأرض يسري في عروقي مسرى نور الشمس في وقت الشروق. أنا من أنا أمن أمان للوطن. أنا من أنا أبتاع والروح الثمن. أمن الكويت يمانها والله يعلي شأنها. أنا غايتي عنوانها الله الوطن الأمير. حب هذه الأرض يسري في عروقي مسرى نور الشمس في الشروق.
In today's lesson, we are going to study Unit 10, Lesson 9 on workbook. Please prepare your workbook in front of you. We are going to practice reading and then writing. The education value for the last day of March. Today, the 31st of March 2026, honoring parents and ties of kinship. I remind you to respect and honor your parents and to keep in touch with all your family members. Workbook page number 3031. First, I'd like to ask you a question. Do you think reaching the summit of a mountain is a great achievement? Explain. Do you think that reaching the summit or the peak of a mountain is a great achievement? Explain. Basil.
Yes, of course, because you face great challenges from weather and lack of food and exhaustion.
So you will face some dangers, some obstacles. Good. But what about your personality? What about your character? What will you gain? Ammar.
You will prove
Ammar. Yes, Basil. Again. 1 minute, Ammar.
you will prove
1 minute, Ammar.
you will prove yourself worthy because you had great determination to overcome these challenges.
Thank you so much. Ammar, do you think that reaching the summit of a mountain is a great achievement?
For me, I think reaching the summit of mountain is not a great achievement because it won't add anything for the human beings.
Thank you so much. Can you mention some extreme sports? There are other sports which are very dangerous other than mount climbing. Can you mention some extreme sports? Dangerous sports like snowboarding, like water surfing? Abdurrahman,
Skydiving.
skydiving, good. Scuba diving. Now, On workbook page number 30, you are going to read an interview between Dave Stocks and interviewer, a TV reporter. She interviewed Dave Stock, who has made an accident after maybe climbing the mountain. This picture will help you to understand the lesson. Then we are going to write a similar one. We are going to write a similar conversation. This conversation is about two ideas we are going to study, or we study in this unit, talking about what the dangers you face while doing these expeditions, and what preparations you should have to avoid these dangers. So you should write a formal, you should use formal language that help you to understand, or write a good conversation, a good dialogue, effective writing skills. How to become a better writer? You should write an outline, or you should write your notes before writing the report or the conversation. Listen to the TV reporter written by AI.
Studio Microphone podcast title, Risk and Resilience, Dave Stokes on Extreme Sports. Host, welcome to Extreme Sports Weekly, where we dive into the minds of thrill seekers and adventurers. Today's episode comes straight from a hospital room, where we're joined by Dave Stokes, an extreme sports enthusiast recovering from a recent injury. Dave, thanks for joining us. Dave, no problem. Host, let's get right to it. How did this injury happen? Dave, I was climbing in the Alps with a friend. I slipped and fell. It wasn't a huge fall, but I landed badly and broke my leg and wrist. Host, that sounds painful. Dave, it was. But when you're into extreme sports, it's part of the territory. Host, what do you mean by that? Dave, activities like snowboarding, parachuting, and mountain climbing, they all come with risk. You always run the chance of getting hurt, or worse. Host, will this injury change how you approach your sport? Dave, not really. I'll recover, and I'll be back out there. Maybe a little wiser, though. Host, wiser how? Dave, I'll be more safety conscious. I'll take fewer risks and spend more time preparing. Host, any advice for our listeners who are into extreme sports? Dave, definitely. First, be prepared, bring a medical kit and a phone. Second, let people know where you're going. And most importantly, don't push yourself too hard. I've seen people get hurt trying things they weren't ready for. Host, wise words. Thanks for sharing your story, Dave. Wishing you a speedy recovery. Dave, thanks. I'll be scaling mountains again in no time.
And this is what the other illustration that help you to understand the conversation. So the name of the program, Extreme Sports Weekly. The interviewer, hi everyone, and welcome to Extreme Sports Weekly. I am here with Dave Stocks, who's recovering in the hospital. Hey, glad to be here. So, how did you get hurt? I was climbing in the Alps and took a bad fall, broke my leg and wrist. Ouch, sounds rough. Yeah, but it's all part of extreme sports. Will this make you quit? No way. I'll be back out there soon, just a bit wiser. Any advice for our listeners? Always bring a medical kit and phone. Tell someone where you are going and don't push your limits. Great tips. Thanks, Dave. Thanks. I'll be back on the mountain soon. What are you going to do now? You are going to read the conversation. I'm going to choose two of the students who will read the conversation aloud. Then we are going to analyze this conversation. We are going to answer some questions. Then we write a similar one. Who's ready to read? عبد الرحمن مدحت, عبد الرحمن شكري. عبد الرحمن مدحت, start.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of Extreme Sports Weekly. Today, we're interviewing extreme sports enthusiast Dave Stokes from his hospital bed. Hi Dave, and thank you for agreeing to do this interview.
No problem.
Well, I guess the question everyone wants to ask is, how did you do this to yourself?
I was climbing in the Alps with a friend, but unfortunately I slipped and fell. Although I didn't fall too far, I landed badly and broke my leg and wrist.
Ouch, that sounds painful.
Yes, it was, really. But it's part of the territory
Territory.
when you you are into extreme sports.
What do you mean?
Well, all of the activities I love, such as snowboarding, parachuting, and mountain climbing, have an element of danger to them. You always run the risk of getting hurt or worse.
Will this injury make you reconsider your chosen spot?
No, definitely not. I'll take me a while to recover, but as soon as I am fit and able, I'll be back on the mount. I may be just a little bit wiser, though.
In what way?
I think I'll be more safety conscious in the future, possibly take fewer risks and spend more time preparing.
Can you give our viewers any advice about the dangers of extreme sports?
Sure, firstly, make sure you are prepared. You'll always run the risk of injury, so always take a medical kit and a mobile phone with you. Secondly, tell people where you are going in case anything bad happens. Most importantly, don't push yourself till you're ready. I've seen lots of people hurt because they've tried something that's much too difficult for them.
Thanks for talking to us, Dave. I hope you recover soon.
Thanks, I'm sure I'll be scaling mountains again in no time.
Thanks a lot, Abdurrahman. Midhat, Abdurrahman Shukri, thank you so much. Now, read silently to answer these two questions. Read this interview and answer the following question. Is Dave Stokes upset about his injuries? What advice does he give? So we've got two parts. B. Can you think of any other ways to stay safe whilst doing extreme sports? So in exercise A, he mentions this piece of advice. And exercise B, you are going to mention other ways to stay safe. He didn't mention in the conversation. So is Dave upset? Is Dave upset? Is Dave sad about his injuries? Mustafa, Muhammad?
No, he's not.
He's not. Yes. Good. What advice does he give?
إجابة برضو.
Yes, Mustafa. He gives the readers or the listeners, audience, some piece of advice. What are these pieces of advice?
He advises the viewer to be prepared. Take a medical kit
To be well
and a mobile
prepared.
phone.
Good. And take a medical kit and a mobile phone. Good. Thank you so much. What else? Thank you, Mustafa. Who would like to answer the question? Can you think of any other ways to stay safe whilst doing extreme sports? If you are doing scuba diving or skydiving, Abdurrahman said, can you give me some piece of advice how to stay safe?
using self equipments.
Yes, check your equipment, and you should have self confidence. Yeah, you shouldn't push yourself until you are ready. You should tell other people where you are going and what you are doing. Good. You should train well. Thank you so much. So let's check the answers for these two questions. Is Dave Stokes upset about his injuries, and what advice does he give? No, he's not. As Mustafa said, he advised the reader or the viewers to be prepared to take a medical kit and mobile phone, tell people where he or she is going, and not to push himself or herself too much. Thank you so much. Second one, can you think of any other ways to stay safe whilst doing extreme sports? We mentioned them, Abdurrahman. Wear proper clothes. Test your tool regularly. Check your tool regularly. Don't take unnecessary risks. Always have a companion. Always have someone to help you. Never overestimate your abilities. لا تبالغ في قدراتك. Never overestimate your abilities. Know what to do in case you get injured. So these are some bits of advice to stay safe while doing extreme sports. Next exercise on page number 31, exercise 2. Make a list or make a note of the following phrases, words used to make suggestions, informal words and phrases. You are going to find out from the conversation what words or phrases they use to make suggestions. And informal words and phrases. Informal words, it means words you can say to your friends, not to you cannot write them in a report or in an exam. Muhammad Abdurrahim.
Uh, firstly or secondly, or make sure.
Yes, good. Thank you so much. So Muhammad mentioned here. Muhammad said, firstly, secondly, make sure. Firstly, make sure. Always take. Secondly, tell. Most importantly, don't. So these are some suggestions. I'd like to add other ways how to make suggestions, especially for the exam. In a language function or situation, if you are someone tells you about a problem and you would suggest some solutions, you can start with why don't you, what about, how about, we can, shall we. So you can say, what about going to the cinema, how about going to the cinema, why don't we go to cinema, let's go to the cinema, shall we go to the cinema. So these are other ways to make suggestions, especially when you are answering language function in the exam. Informal words and phrases. Informal words, friendly words, or words you can use in spoken language. Short forms, abbreviations like don't, I'll, I've. Can you add more informal words and phrases? Ouch, or ouch, as your friend said, Abdurrahman. No problem. I guess the question. It's part of the territory when you are into. You'll always run the risk. So using abbreviations or short forms like no problem, ouch, oh, yes, I see. These are informal words which are used in spoken language, not in written form. Now, what are you going to do? So you are going to read again, read again, read again, then write a similar one. You are going to read the conversation again and write a similar one. On the next page, page number 31, it's time to write. Write your own interview about the dangers of extreme sports. It could be with an extreme sports enthusiast, an injured sports person, or a world safety expert. يبقى مطلوب منك تعمل محادثة بين شخصين. You are the interviewer, أنت المذيع, or the TV reporter, and you can interview someone else. An extreme sports enthusiast, واحد رياضي. An injured sports person, رياضي مصاب. Or an expert, خبير on safety precautions or safety ways to avoid these dangers. Your interview or your conversation should be what? You should mention the dangers and you should suggest 2 or 3 ways to stay safe. You have to mention how to avoid these dangers. And you should follow the style, a similar style to the interview on page number 30. Your writing should be about 200 or 220 words. A conversation. I'll give you some models written by AI. You can listen and read listen and read these conversations. Listen.
Microphone interview with a worried safety expert. Interviewer, thank you for joining us today. Why do you think extreme sports are so dangerous? Expert, the main issue is that many athletes underestimate the risks. Falls, equipment failure, or sudden weather changes can turn deadly very quickly. Interviewer, what's the most common mistake people make? Expert, lack of preparation. People often skip training or safety checks, which increases the chance of accidents. Interviewer, what advice would you give young athletes? Expert, train gradually, use proper gear, and never go alone. Extreme sports should be thrilling, not reckless.
Let's see another model.
Snowboarder interview with an injured sports person. Interviewer, can you tell us what happened during your accident? Athlete, I was snowboarding off-piste and hit a hidden rock. I broke my collarbone and had to be airlifted out. Interviewer, did this change how you see extreme sports? Athlete, not really, I still love them, but I've learned to respect the mountain more. Interviewer, what's your biggest lesson from the experience? Athlete, always check conditions and don't push beyond your limits. The thrill isn't worth permanent injury.
Let's listen to the third one.
Person climbing interview with an extreme sports enthusiast. Interviewer, why do you keep doing extreme sports despite the risks? Enthusiast, because the adrenaline rush and sense of achievement are unmatched. It's about testing yourself. Interviewer, do you worry about injuries? Enthusiast, of course, but I prepare carefully. Safety gear and training reduce the risks. Interviewer, what advice would you give beginners? Enthusiast, start small, build skills, and never copy professionals without proper training.
The fourth one.
Interviewer, welcome back to Extreme Sports Weekly. Today we're joined by Dr. Sarah Collins, a safety expert who has spent years studying the risks of extreme sports. Thank you for being here, Sarah. Sarah, thank you for inviting me. It's an important topic. Interviewer, many people love the thrill of extreme sports. Why do you think they're so dangerous? Sarah, the danger comes from a mix of unpredictable environments and human error. Mountains, rivers, and skies don't always behave the way we expect. Add in fatigue, poor preparation, or faulty equipment, and accidents can happen quickly. Interviewer, what's the most common mistake athletes make? Sarah, overconfidence. Beginners often push themselves too hard, too fast. They see professionals doing incredible stunts and try to copy them without the same training or experience. That's when injuries occur. Interviewer, do you think extreme sports should be avoided altogether? Sarah, not necessarily. They can be rewarding and build resilience. But they must be approached with respect. Safety gear, proper training, and gradual progress are non-negotiable. Interviewer: what advice would you give to young people eager to try these sports? Sarah: start small. Learn the basics before attempting advanced moves. Always go with a partner, carry communication devices, and let someone know your plans. Most importantly, listen to your body. If you're not ready, don't force it. Interviewer: wise words. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing your expertise. Sarah: my pleasure. I hope more athletes choose safety alongside adventure.
This is the last
Interviewer:
one.
welcome to Extreme Sports Weekly. Today we're speaking with Alex Rivera, a 19-year-old extreme sports enthusiast who spends most weekends surfing giant waves and practicing parkour. Alex, thanks for joining us. Alex, thanks for having me. I'm excited to share my perspective. Interviewer: people often say extreme sports are too risky. How do you respond to that? Alex: I understand the concern, but for me it's about passion. Surfing a huge wave or landing a difficult jump gives me a sense of freedom I can't find anywhere else. Risk is part of the thrill, but it doesn't mean we're reckless. Interviewer: do your family and friends worry about you? Alex: all the time. My mom hates watching me climb rooftops or dive into rough seas. But I reassure her that I train carefully, use safety gear, and never attempt something beyond my ability. Interviewer: what's the biggest misconception about extreme sports? Alex: that we're adrenaline junkies who don't care about safety. In reality, preparation is everything. I spend hours practicing techniques, checking equipment, and studying conditions before I even attempt a stunt. Interviewer: what advice would you give to beginners? Alex: start small. Build confidence step by step. Don't rush into dangerous tricks just to impress others. Respect your limits, and remember that the sport will always be there tomorrow. Interviewer: wise words, Alex. Thanks for sharing your story. Alex: my pleasure. I hope more people see that extreme sports can be both thrilling and responsible.
As you see here, you have listened to different conversations talking about different sports, snowboarding, mountain climbing, or etc., or skydiving. They have mentioned what the dangers they face while doing these sports, and mention what piece of advice, tips, how to avoid these dangers, how to stay safe. This is a topic for unit 10, and there are some questions you can think about them. Are extreme sports worth the risk? Illustrate. You can find the answer here. And next one, the biggest risk in life is not taking any risk. Do you agree or not agree? You can read the answer. Then don't risk your life for extreme sports. Do you agree or not? And this is the answer. What do you think about people who risk their lives climbing mountains? Finally, you are going to enjoy watching this video about extreme sports. like to try one of them? I hope you can do it. Until we meet again tomorrow, inshallah, we are going to start. We are going to start what? We are going to start Unit 11. So be prepared. Until we meet again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.